Good evening. As I said, Israel's president has begun his four-day Australian tour, making his first stop at the scene of the Bondi terror attack. Isaac Herzog and First Lady Mikhail had more engagements tonight, demonstrating solidarity with the Jewish community. Wherever the head of state goes, so too an enormous security operation. And across the city tonight, those opposed to his presence are also making their voices heard.
Touching down at the invitation of the Australian government, but flying commercial. Isaac Herzog and his wife may not have travelled by private jet, but across Sydney there was little doubt a president was in town. As Israel's head of state moved from the lockdown harbour city, his motorcade was always headed for the coast. Long before he arrived at Bondi Pavilion, waves of police far outnumbered surfers at the iconic beach. Under umbrellas and the watchful eye of snipers, the President and First Lady both lay a wreath and a stone carried from Jerusalem.
In Jewish tradition, we place stones on graves to represent the endurance of memory, the weight of loss, and the unbreakable bond between the living and those we have lost.
For some survivors, it was this occasion that brought them back for the first time. Elon was shot 6 times and in a coma for 10 days.
People thinking about us, caring for us, wanting to come to support us. It was nice. It warmed my heart.
This very beach, beloved by the Australian people, and symbolic of all that's great about this beautiful nation, became the scene of the deadliest terror attack in Australia's history.
In the wake of it, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu lay blame at the feet of Anthony Albanese, saying he'd fueled the fire of anti-Semitism by recognising a Palestinian state. The president didn't reiterate that today, but did make the theme of his tour crystal clear.
The current rise in anti-Semitism around the world is a global emergency, and we must all act to fight against it.
For that battle, he's unlikely to find allies among those protesting his very presence. A full-page ad in newspapers this morning made the Australian Jewish Council's assertion that he isn't warmly welcomed by all Jewish people clear, and tonight more will raise banners and voices across several cities.
He's not here on a political mission, it's here for warning. So to the protesters, just be aware of what you're protesting.
Chris Kemp, 10 News.
A legal battle has played out in the Supreme Court this afternoon ahead of a planned rally in the centre of the city. That's at 5:30 tonight, under half an hour. The Palestine Action Group fighting for the right to march through the city to State Parliament. Now, in breaking news, the Supreme Court has just ruled against them. So let's go to Ali Donaldson. She's outside the Supreme Court. Ali, this decision has literally just come through.
Sandra, this one really has come right down to the wire. Just minutes ago, the Supreme Court ruling against protesters for their rally at Town Hall in under half an hour. We're with the Palestine Action Group spokesperson Josh Leeds. Josh, what does this mean for the thousands down there at Town Hall?
It doesn't change very much. We're still going ahead with a massive protest at Town Hall there. Our message is that the people of Sydney stand against genocide. We think this visit by Isaac Herzog is obscene. He should be arrested and investigated for his crimes. And, you know, as we said, the streets of Sydney should belong to the people of Sydney. They don't belong to the Israeli president. And we're determined to send our message all around this country and all around the world.
Now, this does mean, though, that those, if they decide to march, face fines of $5,500. Do you think you will still move on against police orders to do so?
What we've been saying all along is that we are calling on police to facilitate a peaceful march from Town Hall to New South Wales Parliament. So we continue to make that call, but we're certainly not seeking any confrontation with police. This is going to be a completely peaceful, it's a completely lawful protest, and everyone should get down to Town Hall or wherever they are in the country to their protests happening in their cities to be part of this. Because when our leaders roll the red carpet out for genocide, it's up to all of us to take a stand against it.
George, does it mean, though, you're disregarding the Supreme Court ruling?
No, it doesn't at all. The Supreme Court ruling had nothing to do with whether or not we can gather at Town Hall. That's what we'll be doing. Unfortunately, it gives police some extra powers around the place, as you alluded to, but none of these will stop our protests happening.
Well, we better let you
All right, Ali, thank you. Ali Donaldson there, live with Josh Lee. Will continue despite that legal setback.
Yeah, well, as you just heard, that ruling doesn't prevent this action. It just prevents it spreading onto the streets under those provisions of those rules that the state government put in place. So right now, numbers are starting to pack into the square. Organisers have just asked everyone to start filing in because there are more people coming from the street side where the trams are. Of course, it hasn't even kicked off yet, but that chanting is starting to ramp up. Of course, the other attendees here, they are wearing blue. There are lines of police over the back there. The Riot and Public Order Squad are on the street side, and above us is Pol Air this evening. So they're keeping a very close eye on. Of course, that ruling means that they will be watching for those areas that they don't want protesters to encroach on. Now, protesters here say that there are a number of groups here. Obviously, we've seen a lot of events organised by the Palestinian Action Group, but there are other bodies that are joining this today. So certainly the numbers are significantly more than we've seen in recent days. There are groups from various areas of the Jewish community who are actually opposed to this visit. They are also making their voices clear, but it's certainly likely to be a heavy presence, and we're not even started yet. That's still about half an hour off.
All right, Chris, we'll get back to you at the designated time. Chris Campy there with the latest at Town Hall.